Quarterbacks win championship, especially in your fantasy football leagues. RotoWire has the 2025 quarterback tiers that will set you apart from the pack. This is part of our fantasy football draft season series sponsored by Circa Resort and Casino. Tier 1, it's a 2-player tier. We have Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I have Lamar Jackson ahead of Josh Allen, and here's why. The rushing floor is going to be elite. Derrick Henry in that backfield. We saw from week 11 on last year. Lamar Jackson moved into the shotgun. Defenses did not have an answer. They will not have an answer. And then the beauty is defenses have to bring plenty of players down into the box. That allows Jackson on limited pass attempts to have great open opportunities downfield, connecting on those big plays of Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, and a little bit of Zay Flowers. Lamar Jackson is the player you want in that first tier. Remember, he's missed one game in the last 2 years. Those earlier questions of durability and missed time, really not an issue right now. Josh Allen completes this first tier of quarterbacks. And of course, we love Josh Allen. The rushing yardage has gone down the last 2 years from previous career norms, but the rushing touchdowns have gone way up. We'd normally see Allen in the 6 to 9 touchdown range for most of his career. The last 2 years, he has 27 rushing touchdowns. It's going to be hard to sustain that number. It's a very, very big number. Can he do it? Yes. But as a passer, since Joe Brady took over the offense in mid-2023, Josh Allen's pass attempts on a per season basis have dropped about 100. And remember, this Buffalo team lacks strong high-end pass catchers. So I again see Lamar Jackson ahead of Josh Allen, but both in tier 1. If you want to secure them in your league, you most likely need to spend a pick in the 30s to get their services. Tier 2 is next. We have a 3-player tier here. Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, and Joe Burrow. Let's start out with Jaden Daniels. Almost 900 rushing yards last year. And you see a trend here. These mobile quarterbacks are always going to be dominant fantasy performers. As a passer, Jaden Daniels was able to lean on Terry McLaurin a bit. The passing numbers certainly were not the highest end, but Jaden Daniels was still an amazing fantasy contributor. Now, we noticed last year when Daniels played Philadelphia the first time, and even in the playoffs, when he played Pittsburgh, those defenses were able to give him a bit of a hard time. There was a shootout with Philadelphia in the second matchup. It was a weird game. The defenses of the league may make some adjustment to Daniels. Now, give him some hope here, because we saw the Commanders bring in 2 offensive tackles, Laramie Tunsil. They used a first-round draft pick on Josh Connerly, and they also bring in Deebo Samuel. So they're trying to help Daniels as much as possible. But don't forget this. There is risk with Daniels. Yes, he was healthy last year. 6'4", 210 is his size. Very slight frame. Ran the ball a lot. He is going to take a lot of hits. And at that frame, you are really running a tightrope that he is going to be able to stay healthy. So huge reward, big risk as well. Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow are close in this tier. I have Burrow ahead of Jalen Hurts. Now, not the mobile quarterback. Burrow might run for about 200 or so yards, but that defense in Cincinnati, historically bad for that franchise, right? It is just a problem. And they're going to have to pass the ball regularly. And this works out well because you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Joe Burrow was flirting with 5,000 yards last year, and the touchdown numbers in the second half of the year were going through the roof. We are going to see this team lean on Burrow week after week. And with those weapons, Joe Burrow, despite the lack of a high rushing floor, has incredible upside. It would not surprise me to see Burrow throw for over 5,000 yards, over 45 touchdown passes. He should be gold with a good floor week to week. And then there's Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts, we've seen the rushing yards go down by about 100 per season in the last 2 years. The touchdowns are staying high. In that 12 to 15 range, that's been money. But as Saquon Barkley came in last year, we noticed all of a sudden this team is going to have that run-first identity. When they have a lead in games in the second half, they are going to run the football. What that means is Jalen Hurts' passing volume and touchdowns are going to be very much suppressed. And again, without that elite rushing yardage he had in prior years, now it's still great, but it's not to that level. Jalen Hurts is a little more risky than he has been in the past, but still firmly in tier 2. Football fans, why settle for your buddy's basement when you can draft in Las Vegas? The Circa Resort and Casino is giving one league the ultimate fantasy football experience. 2-night stay, welcome bash at the Legacy Club, and your draft at a private stadium swim cabana with giant screens, the DJs, the whole vibe. I've been there. This is a fantasy football life-altering experience. You get limo service, your own spot at the world's biggest sports book. You got to be 21 or over to enter. Head to circalasvegas.com for all the info. This year, make your draft unforgettable only at Circa. Tier 3, 2-player tier. I have Baker Mayfield ahead of Patrick Mahomes. In the last 2 years, Baker Mayfield, 26 touchdowns, 41 touchdowns. But the beauty of Baker Mayfield in Tampa is that the offensive line is outstanding. The tackles give him time to work. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, the first-round pick. He has weapons. Bucky Irving out of the backfield, very good receiver. Even Rashad White when he's needed. Mayfield has the weapons. Tampa's defense, they're trying to infuse some talent. I still see this as a team that's going to give up plenty of points. Mayfield is going to have to throw often. I know Liam Cohen is gone. I don't think Liam Cohen is the only reason for Mayfield's success. We're not going to see the 41 touchdowns most likely again, but 35, sure. With this situation, Baker Mayfield is a veteran quarterback, has veteran pass catchers as superstars. This is going to continue to work. Patrick Mahomes is in tier 3. And I almost put him in tier 4, but let's keep him in 3. We keep making narratives to make it sound like he can return to that elite level. But let's face it, in the last 2 years, he's been about the quarterback 8, and there were times and periods where he was even a quarterback 2. Now, Xavier Worthy broke out in the second half of last season. Rashee Rice missed most of the season with a knee injury. He'll be back. We have Hollywood Brown this year who missed most of the year. So we can make the narrative that if all these receivers click and they go back pass heavy, that Mahomes can go back to being elite. It's a narrative at this point. We know that Andy Reid, when he wants to run the ball, he can run the ball. If they have a lead, they're not going to be overly aggressive. So taking a little more cautious approach on Mahomes, usually drafted before Mayfield, with Mayfield on my list ahead of him, probably won't have any Patrick Mahomes shares. Tier 4, I have 4 players in this tier. Caleb Williams. Look, rookie year, I give him a pass. The coaching staff did him no favors. Offensive line didn't protect him. The schemed up receivers, not there. This year, Ben Johnson comes in, significantly upgraded offensive line. Keenan Allen's gone, so Rome Odunze can become the superstar they drafted him to be, along with DJ Moore. Caleb Williams is going to be in a great situation, and guess what? DeAndre Swift may be a decent running back, but not a sustaining one. So this Bears team is going to have to be heavy pass, and we love that for fantasy. Justin Fields is next. Justin Fields, a few years ago, ran for 1,143 yards. Now he's with the Jets. We are going to see Justin Fields most likely in an RPO-based offense. They are going to need him to run. Breece Hall is there in the backfield with him. We have Garrett Wilson at receiver. They don't have a lot aside from them in high-level weapons. So they will need Justin Fields to be that fast, decisive, powerful runner. And 1,000 yards as a runner is on the table. And if we're going to get that level of production, you can get Justin Fields in tier 4. But he could end up way better than that. Dak Prescott's next. And I know it's been an up and down career. In 3 of the last 5 years, you have a quarterback 2, a quarterback 3, and a quarterback 7 finish. So he's been there and he's done that. Now he gets George Pickens to go with CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. The Dallas defense will be decent, but they're going to give up points. And the running game, don't expect it to be sustaining with Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue, and others. Prescott's going to have to throw. He has the weapons. This is a great tier 4 pick, and he could exceed that. Finally, Kyler Murray. He's in tier 4 because he'll get you that 500 or so rushing yards if he stays healthy. And that's the big deal. He hasn't had great passing numbers in his career. So he's at the bottom of this tier, and he's usually getting drafted ahead of Fields and Prescott. So although he's at the bottom of the tier, if you're following this tier ordering, he's not going to end up on your rosters. But these are the 4 tiers that'll win you your fantasy football league. Don't forget to sign up for the ultimate fantasy football experience. Go to circalasvegas.com for details.